Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel Biodiversity and Conservation. I am Subhalakshmi Raut from Ambika Prasad Research Foundation India, and we are continuing our series on UGC NET examination for environmental science subject, and this is the 12th part of Unit 3 Environmental Biology. Here we will discuss population dispersal and biotic potential. And let's start with population dispersal. Population dispersal is the movement of individuals into or out of the population or its area, and it is the means by which new or depopulated areas are colonized and equilibrium diversity is established. It is also an important component in gene flow and the process of speciation. Um, and the basic of this population dispersal is that there is always requirement for movement of organisms from one place to another, either in search of food or mate or shelter. So for the survival of their population, the animals have to move from one place to another, and plants also show the seed dispersal phenomena, which is carried out by different agents, and like birds and some insects. So, population dispersal is actually a very important phenomena, and there are different forms of dispersal. It happens mainly in three forms, like immigration, that is movement of um, an organism or a group of individuals out of a population. Immigration is the movement into a population, and migration is the periodic departure and return of individual or groups. And migration is a very special type of population dispersion because it involves a mass movement of entire populations. So, seasonal and diurnal migrations not only make possible occupation of regions that would be unfavorable in the absence of migration, but also enable animals to maintain a higher average density and activity rate. As you can see, if there will be no migration, then um, the diversity of organisms in the place will not change or not increase actually. When animals move in mass from one area to another, they not only mm, help in seed dispersion or their population growth, but it also enriches the diversity of the movement areas also. The non-migratory populations often undergo a reduction in density um, during unfavorable conditions. So, population dispersal is very important. It is a necessary action to maintain balance in the environment ecosystem. And there are some means of dispersal. All animals do not spread across the barriers with same speed or um, same rate. Some spread faster and some um, pass slowly, and some do not cross the barriers also. So there are some common means of dispersion like through land bridges. They are land connections between two large land masses which are separated by sea that may have existed in the past and facilitated movement of animals across them. This theory of land bridges was formulated to explain um, why there is a discontinuous distribution of animals in continents that are presently separated by um, large oceans. And the next second one is sweepstakes. The rafts, icebergs, or driftwood, or any other floating objects in the sea can carry small animals and their eggs, and maybe some other stages of their life cycles also, to long distances. But this is one-way transport and uncertain and enormously dangerous. And natural rafts are made when trees are uprooted by storms, cyclones, or hurricanes to make small floating islands on which insects, reptiles, rats, etc. make a journey to like islands. And this has a very interesting example um, from the movie Ice Age. So you can get my drift. And next one is winds and storms. Wind is used by many plants for dispersal of their seeds, for which they possess specialized aerodynamic structures to keep them airborne and drift to long distances. Flying insects can also be carried by air current to long distances across oceans. Birds and bats can make use of favorable currents to cross long stretches of seas. These actually sometimes helps the birds during migration, um, during winter when they migrate for such a long distance. And there are also some means of dispersal through birds. Birds have wings and they can fly across long stretches of land or from sea, and they can spread the seeds of plants and eggs of some animals when they fly from one area to another. And last one is human agency. Various insects and mammals have been constant companions of humans with whom they live and also travel. So when they travel, they spread to all the places which visited by man, and thus this increases their diversity in areas where actually they cannot ever go, but with the help of humans, they can spread their diversity throughout the world. Now, next one is patterns of dispersion. There are three patterns that is in use. First one is exponential pattern, where the number of individuals falls off at a rate of e to the power minus x as distance increases. And next one is normally distributed pattern, when the number of individuals fall off at a rate of e to the power minus x with distance. And uniform pattern, when the animals move a certain distance and stop, that is in case of birds. Dispersal of small organisms and the seeds or propagules generally take an exponential form in that density decreases by constant amount of uh, for equal multiples of distance from the source. And dispersal of large active animals deviates from this pattern and may take the form of set distance dispersal, normally distributed dispersal, or other forms. There are also some effects of dispersal on populations, Like dispersal actually helps with natality and mortality in shaping the population growth form and density. The effect that dispersal have depends first on the status of the growth form of the population and second on the rate of dispersal. When organisms leave the population, there is decrease in the um, rate at which the population growth occurs. But when there are um, in incoming of population into the of a group or individuals into a population, then there is increase in the diversity and population also. So here emigration and immigration balances out each other, and this is also um, you know seen in natality and mortality case, uh, where aside from environmental factors, um, if we consider that there are no environmental factors affecting a population, then only immigration, natality, and mortality will um, give the population density. And in case of mass dispersal, when it occurs, there is a rapid change with the corresponding effect on the population. Um, like uh, when there are some extreme reduction of population like extinction, so this causes severe changes in population as well as in the ecosystem. Now next we are going to study about biotic potential and environmental resistance. There are actually two opposite forces which operate in growth and development of population, um, and those are biotic potential and environmental resistance. The biotic potential is defined as the inherent property of an organism to reproduce and survive, that is, to increase in numbers. It is a sort of algebraic sum of the number of young produced at each reproduction, the number of reproductions in a given period of time, the sex ratio of the species, and their general ability to survive under different physical conditions. It is the potential power that an organism has to reproduce, survive in physical conditions um, of the environment. And the environmental resistance is the opposite force, which is the sum total of environmental limiting factors which prevent the biotic potential from being realized. This is actually like Newton's third law, that equal and opposite uh, reactions. There are equal and opposite reactions in nature. So, as biotic potential gives us the absolute ability of organism to reproduce, to increase in number. So to stop those, there are some environmental factors also, limiting factors that prevent the biotic potential of an organism to reach its peak point. So the both forces are important, and biotic potential can be differentiated into two components like reproductive potential and survival potential. The reproductive potential is the measure of the ability of the organism to produce in large numbers, and the reproductive potential of a species may be divided into the factors of the sex ratio of the population, that is, the number of females which are going to reproduce and the number of young produced per female in a unit of time. And the survival potential is the ability of the organism to maintain its high numbers. It is possible to further subdivide the survival potential into nutritive potential and protective potential. And the nutritive potential represents the ability of the organism to utilize the environmental materials, that is air, water, sun, um, for the support of its metabolism. And the protective potential of an organism is concerned with the potential ability to protect itself against the dynamic forces of the environment. And it seems to be a general law in nature that if reproductive potential is high, the survival potential may not be so high, and vice versa. So, the resistance to growth of a population may be brought about by climatic, biotic, and other factors. Uh, so, this is all from me today. Thank you.